이번 공연도 잘 준비를 해서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 건강히 다음에 봬요. 안녕.
Actually looking at you, watching over you makes me happy. Just looking at you smiling, just watching over you makes me feel at peace. That's an English translation of a verse from Jonghyun's track Before Our Spring. It's something I've been thinking about since I first read it. It's a beautiful sentiment, one that I assume was written about a love interest, but it has taken on a new meaning for me, which I will explain at the end of the video. Kim Jonghyun, born April 8th, 1990, was a South Korean singer-songwriter who grew up in Seoul. He joined SM Entertainment to train as an idol at age 15. On May 25th, he debuted as part of a boy group called SHINee alongside the leader Onyu, Minho, Key and Taemin with the EP Replay. Later in the same year, they released their first album, The SHINee World. By the end of the year, they were winning accolade after accolade and award after award. The group was very vocal heavy. They did a bit of everything: R&B, dance pop, electro pop, ballads, you name it, and SHINee have probably done it. Not long after debuting, Jonghyun was writing music for the group. He is credited with writing 17 songs for SHINee and many more for his own albums. SHINee made waves, quickly becoming one of the biggest idol groups alongside groups such as Big Bang. SHINee's popularity especially began to pick up after the release of their third EP titled 2009 Year of Us, which contained their iconic song Ring Ding Dong. SHINee at this point are a staple of the industry, and they'd only debuted a year prior. Their second full-length album, Lucifer, released in 2010, sold over 262,000 times in Korea alone. SHINee continued along this trajectory, consistently selling above 200,000 copies of each project, some even surpassed 300,000. SHINee were also one of the first K-pop groups to have a big presence in Japan, selling over 122,000 copies of their first Japanese album. The album was titled aptly The First, and it was released in 2011. It cannot be understated how important SHINee were in opening up the door to the Japanese market. Overall, they made 5 albums in Japanese, all which sold very well. They even reached #1 on 2 of their albums. SHINee pretty much consistently released an album every 2 years, switching between Korean and Japanese. To this day, their Korean album One of One, released in 2016, is one of my favourite albums. Its fusion of retro funk and electronic pop is iconic, and it's superbly written, with songs such as Prism and Don't Stop being written by Jonghyun himself. SHINee were one of the first K-pop groups I really fell in love with. I thought their music was very wholesome, but it also blended that sort of iconic K-pop style with much more Western funk influences. As far as I can tell, they were one of the first groups to use those EDM layered instrumentals, and they did it to great aplomb. In 2015, Jonghyun made his solo debut with Bass, an EP which Jonghyun himself wrote all the songs for. He featured the legendary Zion T on the album. He also played a large role in the composition of the music in the album. Jonghyun is credited alongside GD as someone who broke away from idol conventions of not having a role in the creation of the music. Jonghyun wrote a lot for SHINee and all of his own music. This was something he was really good at and is considered by some, including myself, to be one of the best writers in South Korea. Bass sold really well in Korea, and it was followed up pretty quickly with the compilation album Story Up 1. Then in 2016 he released his first solo studio album, She Is, a stunning confessionary album filled with R&B and electronic merges with a strong punk rock influence. She Is was one of my favourite albums of 2016, and it was likewise loved by critics and fans. It debuted at #1 on the Korean charts, an impressive feat for Jonghyun, especially considering he wrote all the songs, did the composition, and played a large role in the arrangements. Jonghyun made huge strides in artistic freedom and should be looked up to by all for this. Jonghyun was a really special guy. He was a singer, a songwriter, a once-in-a-generation talent, a wholesome man with loads of charisma, so likeable. He was one of my favourite musicians to come out of Korea, and his music is still some of my favourite. The first time I listened to Story Up 2, his second compilation album, I was astounded. I was filming a video and I was just sitting there in stunned silence, realising how lucky we were to have someone like this making music for us, for this man to be in our lives. The grooves, his range, his emotional yet powerful delivery. He was, in my opinion, one of the best vocalists and songwriters in the world at the time.
Please, please, please buy this album, because you will be so impressed with it. Honestly, that was some of the best, that's one of the best times I've ever had listening to an album just outright, completely.
Poet Artist was an album that was released posthumously. It's a stunning album with blends of R&B, soul and electronic dance. I still find it hard to listen to. It always brings back memories of the first time I listened to it. It's very personal for me, and it's something that I like to listen to on my own, not with other people. It breaks my heart to know we will never get another album, but it eases my own pain to know he is no longer in pain, and I just wish I could have, or someone else could have eased his. That is why I mentioned the lyrics at the beginning of the video. The line that sticks with me the most is, "Just looking at you smiling, just watching over you makes me feel at peace." I shouldn't dwell on his death. I should enjoy life and be happy, because that's all he wanted for us. His words and music will stick with me forever, and I hope he is never forgotten. Hopefully this video will remind people how beautiful and how important Jonghyun was for us, but also the music industry and the world. He is not someone's talking point for depression. He was a brilliant man who had his demons. Please remember him, and please talk to someone if you are like me and still struggling with him being gone. Hi guys, thank you all for watching this history of Jonghyun. I hope I did this topic justice. I've wanted to make a video like this for a very long time, and I've just never had the tools. I've been learning a lot of editing techniques recently, so I hope the video looks good. Like I said, I've been learning a lot, and this is a very sensitive topic, and I wanted to make it well, so hopefully, like I said, this has done it justice. I'm very glad I made this. It was difficult to write, but in a way, it felt like therapy. It was good to write. Like I said, if any of you still want to talk about it, use this comment section as a way to talk about it. There's so many people online who want to talk about it, and as I said earlier, you should enjoy life and be happy, because that's what he wanted for everyone, including himself, and I wish he could have been. So yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. Ginno signing out. Adios.